everybody. Welcome to Trading the Close. My name is Gareth Soloway, and we're here to deep dive into Nvidia, Snowflake, Palo Alto Networks, all reporting earnings in just a few minutes. In addition, talk about what happened in the markets today, not only the stock market, but crypto and commodities as well. And of course, we'll be analyzing the charts. Wild day. Early selling. The markets have now made a late comeback to close neutral to positive on the day. Let's jump right into it here. So take a look at this, guys. So today we were down sizably, actually as much as over 1% on the S&P 500. By the end of the day, the S&P is back to the flat line. Now this late day rally started right around 3:30 p.m., so about 30 minutes ago, give or take, and we started to see Nvidia pushing back up. So Nvidia was down a lot early in the day. Now it's basically only fractionally negative, and you have to wonder, did some information slip out about the earnings coming out? Because we know these Nvidia earnings are going to be major market moving events. All right, so what do we have here? We have the Dow that was up today all day long, pretty much up 135 points. The NASDAQ still slightly down as technology is a little bit weaker versus yesterday. We talked about the S&P essentially flat on the day. Oil down fractionally 20 cents. While gold back up again. Third day in a row, gold has gained. And again, riding this wave to the upside on gold. And take a look here. Bitcoin trading still below 95,000, but above 94,000 up on the day. Very interesting price action today on Bitcoin. It came just underneath the 95,000 level before reversing back into the 93s, and then it's pushed up a little bit later on here as it continues to dance around major technical resistance. All right. Let's take a look at some other factors here. Take a look. This is the S&P 500 on an intraday 10-minute chart. So each of these candles is 10 minutes today. It gives us a good view of what happened on an intraday basis, right? So what do we see? We saw the markets opening right up here, basically around the flat line. A big sell-off took hold, taking us down as much as over 1% on the S&P. We then had a lot of sideways chop, and then all of a sudden, late in the day, right here, 3 p.m., so 3 p.m., the markets caught a little bid, a little consolidation, and then the final 30 minutes ripping to the upside as Nvidia pushed up into the end of the day. And again, you almost get the sense, and we'll see in just about 20 minutes when Nvidia releases its earnings, did they know something or is this a fake out? And I'm not going to pretend to know here, folks. I have no clue. I have no inside knowledge of what the earnings will be. All we can do is rely on the charts, all right? But nonetheless, wow, that was quite a late day move on the markets to bring it back to the flat line. All right, let's go to some charts here. If we take a look at the daily chart of the S&P 500, take a look. This was today's candle. You can see how the tail was all the way down here. We were testing this low level, which needless to say, now very clearly, this is a level to break, right? If we put a line there, if we can break this, you should actually get to gap fill. But on the upside, look at, we have a gap fill just above here. So which way are we going to go? That is the big question. This will be resistance around 593.50, and if we can break below 584, we then should head all the way down to 576.70. And again, these are your levels. A little sideways chop the last few days as we've waited for Nvidia. Now, same thing here, folks. This is the NASDAQ 100 late day surge to the upside. If we go to the daily chart, we are stuck in a wedge pattern. Are we going to have a breakdown, which would result in a bigger move to the downside, or are we going to fill the gap and retest the all-time high trend line here, which again stretches all the way back to the highs from 2021. All right, big movers on the day here. We have Target, TGT. We can walk over to the big board and take a look here. But basically, we saw Target falling today, down 22% on the day. But interestingly enough, it still has not achieved the downside major support level here. And again, these are multiple. You have a gap fill, pivot point, and this trend line goes back years down here that slopes up a little bit right here at around 115 to 110. All right, we talked about this in the game plan this morning. It's not there yet. What that tells me is we probably are going lower on Target in the next few days as they reported poor earnings on the day. Okay, another stock we want to take a look at Nvidia. Going into earnings today, we have this trend line underneath. You can see we kind of dabbled with breaking it, and then it was saved. We have this trend line above. But if we go up, This is your next level here, 158 to 160. I've talked about that as kind of being a major level to the upside in terms of resistance. So if we do break up on earnings and have a sizable move, again, that would be about a $13 to $15 move up. That will be your technical resistance in the after hours and tomorrow that I'll be watching like a hawk. On the downside, if we start breaking below this level of around 143, which by the way, at the lows of the day, look, we touched it. But if we get a close below tomorrow and confirmation afterwards, then this stock would have a big downside move, eventually most likely testing the September lows and potentially even the August 2024 lows. So big day today in the after hours. Snowflake reporting in just a minute or two, maybe around 4:05 in about 3 minutes. We can see here trading into the end of the day, nothing much going on. The daily chart, again, is kind of not telling us a whole lot. Resistance on this for a trade in the after hours would be 145 to 146. Support would be around 116 to 117. All right, and those are intraday / after hours levels to watch. Now, in the bigger scheme of things, we see Snowflake is way down off of its recent highs from early 2024. This was a $237 stock, trading now at basically $1.30 on the session. Another stock reporting after hours, doesn't look like the earnings are out yet. This is Palo Alto Networks. And this stock, again, folks, is holding steady here, pretty much at all-time highs. Resistance on this is going to be 411 to 412, with support on a big sell-off at 327. There'll be a couple interim levels here. 367 would be a gap fill as well. All right, we'll take a look at those in just 1 second. Here's your Bitcoin chart. Notice we're piercing this upper level right here. And again, guys, very interesting on this. If we go out here, we have these two trend lines. Now we're at the upper trend line, the upper band, with a little bit of bullish consolidation. So it does favor kind of a 50-50 or slight favoring to an upside move to 100,000. If it doesn't close above this level, though, be very careful. A flush out could be nasty. And the fear and greed index on crypto is pretty high at this point. Gold today bouncing beautifully to the upside. Nice little move on gold. It's kind of kissing my first level of resistance here. If we look at this, right? Beautiful little level right here, this pivot low. Second target will be around the 2685 level, but we kissed first target today. Natural gas, look at this move. Up almost 8% on the day. I've talked about this level now probably for the last month as the level I was waiting for to potentially short natural gas. That is going to be your point in the sand, 355 to 365 as a target for a short trade on natural gas. Also, oil, guys, I wish there was more to discuss on oil. Almost no price movement. This has literally gone to sleep. It is actually bearish sleep, though, as it continues to hammer on this lower trend line right down here. All right, let's flip back to Snowflake. Is there any sort of move here in the after hours? The answer is not yet, so no earnings out just yet. Palo Alto Networks, same thing. No major earnings, and we know Nvidia will not be reporting here for another 15 minutes or so. So, listen, when it all comes down to it, the market tomorrow has jobless claims in the morning with some other economic news, but really, it's all about Nvidia. Is Nvidia going to have a big up move or a big down move? Implied volatility is 12% in the options market. That means options traders are preparing for up to 12% of a move up or down. That's about $300 to $400 billion change in market cap. Massive change in market cap. But again, is it going to be up a lot, down a lot, or maybe it's a non-event. Maybe it comes in and the stock barely moves. We don't know. But ultimately, the charts will guide us to the next big levels, and that's what I'm here to do, folks. So I'm going to step aside. I got to get ready for these earnings, but I will update you in the game plan tomorrow with all the key trading levels for you guys throughout the day tomorrow and going forward on swing trades. You guys have a great one. I'll see you soon.